cuál es.
Hi, I'm Mónica García, President of the LAUSD Board of Education, and welcome to Families Matter. Joining me today are my co-hosts, Maria Casillas, the Chief of School, Family, and Parent Community Services, and Board Member Nuri Martinez. Our goal is to provide information so families can help their children graduate and stay safe in school. Today's topic focuses us on creating a literate home and what parents can do to encourage students to read and write. Joining us shortly will be Marisol Schultz, Director of LA, the largest Spanish language book fair in America, and Mary Mendoza, Principal of Vista del Valle Dual Language Academy in Sylmar. But first, a chance for us to talk about the latest regarding the LAUSD and Family and Parent Services. Buenas tardes. Maria, what is happening with our parents this week?
Well, always a lot. You know, for parents, they are always busy, but we're very excited because I think several shows ago we talked a little bit about a document that was produced really by parents for parents, and that is now distributed to all the schools. It's called a Bill of Rights and Responsibilities for Parents.
Excellent.
It's a beautiful document. So this went out in poster form to every school, and I know we've had several calls, people calling and letting us know how beautiful it is and how attractive it is as a teaching tool. Mm-hmm. And as part of that, we decided to make these little bookmarks that actually remind parents about the partnership that they have with their schools, because that's really the key to parental involvement. It's about collaboration, it's about partnership. Parents have a role to play at home and schools have a role to play at school, but when they work together, we really get kids reading, and that's, I know, the subject for today.
Oh, I love
but
it.
as you see, you know, it's very simple. We summarized everything for parents here. It's about parents promoting high expectations for their children, setting their children on the path to college and a successful career, engaging in conversation and collaboration, which is productive with schools, with their teachers in particular, and then having this great respect and support for each other. So we're really very excited that this document finally worked its way through, made it to the schools. It's part of our board policy that you adopted a year ago on the Parents as Equal Partners resolution. So we're very, very happy. It takes a little time, but we did reach out to about 350 parents to help us really decode all those recommendations and figure out what is it that they would like to see in that document. So it's at the schools. So
is the poster on the Parents' Bill of Rights, is that supposed to be displayed at each school, or is each child taking it home?
We have them for each school to post in different places. So every school got an ample amount of the big posters. They also have flyers that they can download with this information in Spanish and in English. And it's on our website, so people can go there, and we'll give out the website address in just at the end of the program. And then these are being passed out just everywhere. So for example, we're going to have the Family Summit at USC on May 5th. They will see this everywhere. So parents constantly reminding them, let everyone know at the school that you expect your child to go to college. And that is, you know, that's a message that our staff needs to hear.
And the Family College Summit, is that we full to capacity yet, or
well,
are we still
we have
asking people to
already
register?
enrolled 2,500 parents and their middle and high school children. So we know that, you know, sometimes things happen, sometimes not all 2,500 will show up, but we are encouraging parents to still call our office. All the information is on our website as well, and continue to enroll, because it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to be at a college campus and to experience not just workshops, but some very interesting displays and exhibits that will be there. Microsoft is our partner, and they are going to have a fabulous robotic exhibit there for kids. It's all based on STEM careers for the future: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for both boys and girls.
Beautiful,
Well, we're looking
beautiful.
forward to it, for sure.
We are. We saw high expectations today in San Fernando. We visited one of Miss Martinez's school. It was
Good.
fabulous.
Cesar Chavez Learning Academies. We have
Wonderful.
3 pilot schools and 1 traditional school, small learning community school. And we saw kids dancing and performing and acting. We have a dance academy there.
Wonderful.
And we saw kids learning about social justice. It was a really amazing morning. Thank you so much for going.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll be right back with Marisol Schultz and Mary Mendoza.
It's an opportunity for our community members to speak with the law enforcement agencies about any concerns that they have that are affecting students at school or within our community. And right now I'm hearing a lot of good articulation between both the parents and the law enforcement agencies, and I know that we will have some resolutions as a result of tonight's events.
What Los Angeles School Police Department's goal is to become more involved with the community, more involved with the parents of the school community. We're here to discuss issues and concerns that the community has, the school community, the parents, as well as educating the community a little bit about what we do, the school police department, and how we work hand in hand with our other law enforcement partners.
Parent involvement will result in a greater level of knowledge and awareness, and then hopefully with their involvement they'll push out the information how to best address the needs of the community.
When parents are involved in the students' activities, either in school, at home, it really makes a difference because you know who the child is, you know what they're capable of, and you motivate them to do good in life.
What you're witnessing here today is the grand opening of our new $3 million graphic communications education facility at Venice High School. This is something we've been working on for the last 6 years. We were lucky enough 6 years ago to get a state grant, California State Grant Proposition 1D, which gave us $3 million, and we've been working for 6 years to get it to come together.
To really give students an opportunity to know that there's access to college careers other than means of a traditional means of learning, that applied arts, applied sciences, that will stimulate kids to further their careers.
This program is putting into effect the district motto of college prepared and career ready. This is going to make those kids career ready.
Welcome back to Families Matter. Joining us now are Marisol Schutz, Director General of the LA, the largest Spanish language book fair in America, and Mary Mendoza, Principal of Vista del Valle Dual Language Academy in Silmar. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
We love books. Books are good. They help students get to graduation. Marisol, tell us about this book fair and how we can encourage literacy in our homes.
Well, it's the second edition of this Spanish language book fair. As you know, because you were there last year in April, we had 36,000 people coming to the book fair in just 3 days.
36,000.
Yes.
Wow. Very good.
Correct. So, well, we are doing it again, and it's going to be May 11, 12, and 13. We are going to celebrate Mother's Day there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, well, we already have everything set up, and we have more or less 150 of the biggest names of the authors, not only for children, for everyone. They are coming to do presentations, to speak with the people, to do signings, and many things. And of course, we have a very important children's area with workshops, with theater for kids, with many cultural activities. So it's going to be fun. We think that reading is not only an obligation, so it has to be fun.
Yes.
So that's our point. It is a way of promoting reading, especially reading in Spanish.
Yes.
Because as we know, it's very difficult to find books in Spanish in here.
It is.
That's like a paradox. That
At least not a big scope of books. You find some books,
some of them, yeah.
but not the vast number of books that.
Even online it's difficult. I mean, I go on Amazon and sometimes.
No, so this is a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
So is this for free for our families?
Yeah.
This is at the convention center?
Yeah, it's at the convention center, and everything is free inside the book fair. We also have some free concerts, big concerts. You have to pay for be there to be there.
Okay. But admission is free.
Admission is free. Everything.
All the workshops are
all
free.
the workshops, everything inside the convention center is free.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
Wonderful.
And then you
Excellent.
have concerts at
Yeah.
each of the different nights at the Nokia Theater
the
across
Nokia
the street. You
Theater,
have
yeah.
Gloria Trevi on May 11th and Los Tigres del Norte on the
Wow.
12th.
Yeah.
Calle 13 on the 13th.
With Ilia Kuriaki.
With
Yeah.
Dilia Kuriaki.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have different things for everyone.
And you said the Tigres del Norte are going to read to the kids.
Well, we are trying the celebrities to go there. Some of the celebrities have accepted to go there and read for a kids in Spanish.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
wonderful.
Awesome.
Also some other authors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Mendoza, you come to us as a practitioner and a leader in our school, but also as a mom that has been very successful in helping her children read.
For children.
For children. And I think that as an educator and a parent, one of the most important things that we have to do is to teach our children not just to read by breaking the code and making that connection between the sound and the symbols of our alphabet, but to really have an appreciation and an understanding of what reading means. As a child, I remember walking into the kitchen and finding my father reading the newspaper. And no matter how tired he was, he talked to us about what he was reading. And the connections that I made from that later in my life was something that really helped me. It helps the children not just know the importance of the written bit of the spoken word. Sometimes, for whatever reason, children come to school and their parents encourage them, you be quiet and listen and don't say anything, just wait until you're asked. And that's something that we have to break our children from. We have to let them realize that what they have to say, what they're thinking is very important. And that there is a respectful way, even if they're going to disagree with what they hear around the classroom, that there's a way to disagree, but that words are going to be very effective for them. My own children, I would set aside time for them to read to them. And as all of you who are parents know that it's different for each child. My oldest daughter would love to hear stories about princesses. With Lauren, it was Pinocchio. That was her favorite, movie. Reading about Pinocchio was something that she wanted to strive to do. And then it's not always just literature. You have to sometimes use rimas. You have to, rhyming is such a challenging thing. Using those lullabies, the songs that the parents knew. Sometimes our parents don't think, oh, but that's the way I did it. Well, if it worked for you the way you did it, you just need to embellish on that. So it's something that I strive to encourage my parents to constantly talk to and read to their children.
Right.
Excellent.
And I think it's really important that our parents, many of them do not speak English, but it's the process of reading and the joy of reading and the love and the bond that connects, the child and the parent in the act of reading. It's very important. So whatever language the parents speak, whether it's Spanish or Armenian, or we have so many languages, the idea is to use language to storytell using a book, obviously is, a tool, but sometimes parents don't have all of the books necessary, but they can tell stories. I remember my mother, and I'm the youngest of 11, so you can imagine how many of us would run in after school, jump on the bed, because we'd get home about 4, right at the time that she was just taking a little rest before dinner time. And we'd jump on the bed, and she would tell us adivinanzas and, riddles, things like that in Spanish. Sometimes, the only book we could get in those days, I'm pretty old, and bookstores were not as common. We didn't have a Barnes & Noble, much less a Spanish section, right? But she had El Reader's Digest en Español. And so she would use that, and for the whole month, she had something to share with us. So all of us became just I would not say just good readers, but obsessed readers. And I always tell our parents, if there's going to be an obsession in your home, it has to be around books. It's books and it's stories, because everyone loves a very good story.
I have a similar story growing up where my parents would read the newspaper every morning. So I think that's where I have my fascination for politics and international relationships, because my dad would always want to know current events that were happening around the country. But in our house, my daughter loves Dora the Explorer. And every night our ritual is that we read to her, either my husband and I usually do it because it's kind of like our special moment. And I tell my parents that it's so easy. This is something you don't need money to do. You can pick up any book you want in Spanish or in English to really install in your kids the love of reading, because that's what you want to do at an early age. So we started reading some of the stuff that my little Isabel loves. I'm not sure if you guys have ever read this Click Clack Moo are the organizing cows, so they organize themselves because they want electrical blankets. And so they have a typewriter and write to the farmer those are their demands. Anyways, it's very, very cute. And our other favorite book is Lola en la biblioteca.
Oh,
so she goes to Tuesdays. Her and her mother go to the library and they walk there and they spend time there in the children's corner. It's a really cute book. Right now, she's fascinated with Sally and the Something. This little girl's very adventurous, just like mine. And she makes a little friend in the swamp. It's like a swamp thing, and she calls them Something because it doesn't have a name. And so they go out and have adventures together and spend the whole day. It's such a cute book. So these are just some of the books that I wanted to share with our viewers, but most importantly is making the time, really making the dedicated time to do that with your kids, turning off that television and making that space for you to actually, and not only do we read, but then I ask her, does she understand what she's reading? I ask her, what happened to Sally, or where's Sally going? And she's able to repeat that in complete sentences. So you actually are able to also incorporate the vocabulary and speaking in complete sentences. And she's 3 years old, and I'm really amazed that at such an early age, she understands what reading time means, and you turn off the television. They love it, and children love it, and their imagination.
Even younger, they love to
and then
book.
she starts acting out the characters, which I think is hilarious. But I mean, these are things that I tell my parents all the time. You don't need a lot of money to be able to do this. You just have to devote the time, and every day make it a ritual. And your children will fall in love with reading.
And you can play with the books too. Yes. Because, for instance, with my little daughter, when she was young, now she's not anymore, I used to change the story because she knew the story. And I used to say a complete different story. And she said, no,
it
doesn't go like this. And I know they were like, oh no, because you have to repeat the stories a lot. I mean, they like the same book and you have to read it over and over.
Yeah. Yes. And as they grow up, you need to keep up with their interests, because I remember my daughters, and again, they're not young anymore, but finding books where there was a female that was going to save the day was not always the easiest thing. It was always, the young man or somebody else coming the prince coming to save the day. So we used to spend a lot of time in the bookstores finding books that they liked. My son loved Shake My Sillies Out. So he would avoid getting in trouble at school. He used to shake his sillies out before going to school, so that then he was ready to focus and do what he needed to do.
That's great.
That's important. You have to find the interest that, something
and
that interests them.
Their interests change. So keeping up and talking to them is going to keep you aware of what their interests are.
What would you say to parents who maybe are not comfortable themselves as readers? How would you support them?
But you know what? I would say it's the conversation. The importance of not just the written but the spoken word, because sometimes you can ask the cause and effect questions, the inference questions after a conversation you've had. As Maria was sharing, my grandmother used to share stories about when she was young, or my father about when revolutionary stories, and we would ask questions and they, well, what do you think? There's always that asking those higher level questions, even if it's from a conversation you've had or a program that they just finished. If you're going to sit down and watch the television, talk about it afterwards. Don't just sit there in silence.
Right.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
So if they're uncomfortable with the reading, then focus on the conversation and work your way into the reading.
Right. One of the beautiful things about the Feria del Libro in Guadalajara that is like Lea Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
that you've
we are
brought here.
part of the
You're
same
bringing that,
organization,
yes. Is because I've been to the Feria several times. I just love the Feria. And I recall that it would kick off on a Sunday, and they would bring all these, busloads of families from the rancherias, from all the outskirts, from everywhere. Middle class, low income, all these families would come in for special workshops. And for example, let's say that this was the book they were highlighting, Love You Forever, right? They actually converted rooms in their convention center that looked like this, so that the families would walk through and experience the book, but live. So it's almost like instead of a virtual tour like we do now on, using computers, they actually put families right in there. And I know that this is the kind of workshop that we're going to
Yes,
have our
we are going
families
to have-
experience. So I want every
Yeah.
family to go to
Yeah, our workshops are called Letras para Volar.
it. Letras para volar.
Yeah, so it's
Letters to fly with.
Letters to fly with, yes. And they are designed by very rhythm promoters, which have been working with kids for a long time. And they're going to be fun. They're going to be
Can you give us a sneak preview of what authors are going to be there?
Yeah, well, we have like from Colombia, one of the main poets, Juan Manuel Roca. From Nicaragua, Ernesto Cardenal. I don't know whether you know him. He's the main poet. Sergio Ramirez. From Mexico, we'll have Elena Poniatowska. We'll have Alberto Ruiz Sanchez. Many journalists from Mexico with current events like
Panels that are like unbelievable discussions. Yes.
Maybe Nuri's dad's going to come then.
Yes,
You should
yes, he's
them.
turning 80 years old on May 15th.
Oh my
so-
gosh.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Oh
would
my
be a
gosh.
nice gift for him. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yes, imagine to have met these authors. I mean, at a young age, to meet a real life author and to hear him speak about his book, or her book, what motivates them to write a story. I mean, if I have a dream that I would like to be anything in life that I could be, I would be a writer. I would love to tell stories. I don't have that. I know that that's not, you know, I mean,
You're not
that's what I
finished
get.
yet,
right?
you can start. You can start now.
Dream. Every book I read, I think, might I have written that story? And that's what we want children to think of.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got the child in them still, and I still have that child in me.
Qué
that
bonito.
loves a good
Qué
story.
bonito. I remember when we had a couple of authors come over to Logan Elementary, and all of these moms, and there were some dads, but they just loved the ability to tell a story. And these authors were talking about their work, but then they asked the parents to become storytellers.
Yes.
And they started by, tell me a story of when you were a little girl, or tell me when you were a little boy. And the remembering helped them initiate exactly what you said about conversation.
Right.
And the lessons. And it was a wonderful auditorium, and everybody said, oh, we have to do this again. But it started by sharing stories.
Right, right.
And you know what about reading with kids, at least for me, it's so therapeutic that no matter how crazy your day was, right? And then we've all had those days where you just feel the world on your shoulders. But right at bedtime, and when we shut down for the day and we've had dinner, I just find it so incredibly, I'm so lucky that I'm able to spend that kind of time with my daughter. And it's so therapeutic for me, and it creates such a beautiful bond with your children. And I think that sometimes...
And memories that they're going to remember.
She will always remember us
Forever.
acting out Sally into something, because, you know, we acted out.
Right.
And I don't know, I just to me, sometimes I choke up when I have to put her down, and we call it a day, and
You have to stop the book
and you have to
reading.
stop the book reading,
Yeah.
because for me it's so therapeutic, and it really helps me sort of put everything in perspective.
But I
especially the
think that's
difficult
something
parts.
we want to remind our parents
Yes.
about. This is something that they have in control of.
That's
you know,
right.
they're in control of how well their children might read someday. It's not just the classroom teacher.
That's right. No.
I mean, this is something families can actually do. You don't need a college degree to do this. You need to just promote reading, let your children know that reading is enjoyable, tell stories, do all of these things, and your children will become readers. And so, you know, we know that if a child is not reading at grade level, by third grade, by 9 years of age, most of these children don't catch up academically. So imagine having fun, enjoying books, having, you know, storytelling as a way to succeed in life. I mean, it can't get any better than that. So reading is something that all of our families need to focus on, need to really value, and need to participate in, because they enjoy it too. Like
And
you say,
also
therapeutic.
Therapeutic, but also, as I tell parents, can you imagine how more prepared your son and daughter will be when they go to school? Because you're helping. You're helping enhance the teaching that takes place
That's
in
the
school.
partnership.
That's the partnership, and also the responsibility. The co-responsibility
Yes.
is that the responsibility doesn't only fall on the teacher and the school, but also as parents, we have to take responsibility about what takes place in your home,
Yes.
and your child will be so much more prepared when they go to
Right.
school.
You know, when I was in elementary school, they would let us go to the library, and they'd walk us to the public library, which was maybe 10, 15-minute walk, but we'd walk there once a week. And the librarian would give us a little silver or gold star for every book we read. And the silver was if you read so many pages, and the gold was so many pages. And boy, I mean, I would kill kids to get my gold star. I had to get. So,
I can picture you
too.
too.
But I remember my mother, who didn't read in English, you know, understanding, and she would ask me about the books. So that's something that is, you know, just comes from this relationship, like you say, the bond about reading.
And some parents become readers after they read to their kids.
Yes.
They become readers because they start enjoying the stories for the first time.
Yes.
So we're going to have the book fair on May
11, 12, and 13.
Celebrate Mother's Day. We've heard that it's important to do time, it's important to build a habit, it's important to have a space. We have to use everything we need to. We need to help our students read. I'd love to get to 100% proficiency, and I know our parents can help us.
And I think we should focus more at the school district, and of course this is in your backyard, right? To stress and to put more resources into, you know, a campaign for literacy. Yes. Because cultivating a culture of literacy in our schools and in our homes really is the example of true partnerships, and that's what we ought to be focusing on, all of us, you know. So unfortunately, as usual, you know, we get going, and these are always very valuable conversations. I just want to tell you that Mary was a very young teacher, very pregnant with her first child when I was a school principal, and I hired her right out of UCLA. So I am
and
very,
she's one of my fabulous principals.
Great.
I'm very lucky.
So we just have to say that. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us on Families Matter. And please visit our websites, families.lausd.net and parentaccess.lausd.net. Your involvement makes all the difference. See you next month, and remember, families really matter. Bye-bye.